Underage sex workers. Now, I know, Warrior, you're looking at me and thinking flashbacks to Rhoda Morgenstern. I'll leave that because you have to be able to go all the way back to the 1970s to know what I'm referring to. But if you were here in New York City where I live, we have got monsoons out there. We have got rain like you can't believe it. This is what you get. So let's put that aside for a moment and let's get into what I want to talk about. Underage sex workers. The new narrative being bandied about is children, minors, are now being called underage sex workers. Well, I am here to tell you there is no such thing as a child sex worker. It is against the law. There is no such thing as a child prostitute. A child can't consent. They are not a prostitute. They are not a sex worker. But as usual, we see the narrative, and very cleverly being changed, because then the media goes along with these new phrases, and the public listens to the media for the most part and goes along with the phrases. And it sounds rather innocuous, doesn't it? Child. Well, let me rephrase that. Underage sex worker. There's nothing underage. There could be nothing innocuous about that. But this is just more of the softening, of the normalizing of the sexualization and horrific crimes being committed against our children, our youth, our minors. I can't believe we have to fight so hard in 2024 to protect children. This week, the Warriors, we were up in our state capital, Albany, fighting alongside parents whose children have died due to different influences coming from the internet. Norma, great mom, 15-year-old son, was urged by a TikTok challenge to subway surf here in New York and was killed. Straight A student, Stuyvesant High, which is for gifted here in the city, never in trouble. He planned on becoming a Marine. Then we have Mary Rhodes, and her son, sextortion, upstate New York, victim. Then another mom whose daughter bought pills on Snap. What were they? Fentanyl. One pill kills. So why is it so tough to protect our children? That's why it's up to us. The community creates change. Yesterday, we were in a workshop the entire day. We are coalition partners and part of a group called New Yorkers for the Equality Model. Instead of my traveling constantly like I was down to D.C., I am planting my boots right here in New York State and New York City and getting the job done, because changes are made at the local and state level. That's where I can effect the most Warriors change. And we sat yesterday, and I want to tell you, it's male, it's female, it's bipartisan, it is gay, it is straight, it is black, brown, white, Asian. We are all in that room fighting for the same thing. That we do not want the sex trade to be legalized in New York State. What is that? Legalizing pimping, legalizing traffickers, legalizing brothel owning, legalizing those illicit spas that we hear about and know about, legalizing the trafficking of children, the abuse, the exploitation of our precious kids, because it's supply and demand, and the demand is for children. So there you go. More children will be trafficked. I have no doubt at how this is all heading, that we will see down the street from me in Times Square, and not too distant the future, children behind glass windows being sold. I do not exaggerate. I speak the truth. We have studies to back up where the legalization of the sex trade in other countries, it has never worked once. I don't want to hear those arguments that we hear about the empowerment. It's up to one's body, one's choice. We need to hold the sex buyer accountable. This is simply not sex for pleasure. We have so many studies where there is violence. Prostitution is violence. Prostitution, about 97% or thereabouts, are forced, coerced into the sex trade. And that is a definition of human trafficking. Slavery, 2024. On top of it, so we have a lot going on at the Warriors, but again, we're going to be working at the local and state level as well as the federal level. But we are traveling the state, and we are going to get a handle on all of this along with other groups and organizations and individuals. Meta rally yesterday on Broadway. Parents Hold Meta, which is Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, accountable. Let's put some guardrails. We're not banning. We're not trying to ban or tell you what to do with your kids. We want big tech to be held accountable. Why are kids able to buy drugs on different platforms? Why are there sexual abuse videos, rapes of children on these platforms? Yet I may post something or you may post something and it doesn't go along with the narrative or the messaging and you're censored. So let's get real here. Let's start fighting. Let's start talking about it. But join us. You need to follow lynswarriors.org. I'll be loading on a lot of information in the next 24 hours where you can sign on, where you can help. And our New Yorkers for the Equality Model. Let us be leaders in the United States and not let, a lot of states look to New York to be the leader. We have to be the leader on this movement. We cannot allow the legalization of pimping and trafficking. Talk to survivors. We'll be doing a series of videos with survivors so you can hear their viewpoint, their lived experiences. I've never been trafficked or exploited. I feel so lucky because so many I'm meeting. And then again, the parents whose children have suffered, the families suffered. These are lifelong traumas. Nobody's getting over anything. Why are these big tech platforms allowed to do all of this? So we've got that going on. And on top of it, and I usually always talk about the United States, but now let me just throw this one in for you to think about. Gambia, which is a country in Western Africa by Senegal, they have, as you probably are aware of, female genital mutilation has been a topic thrown about, I would say, in the last 2 decades, and banned in Gambia. Well, you know what? Now there is a movement to unban it. Girls and women, basically 14, 15 to ages 50, close to 80% have been put through this horrific thing of this female genital mutilation, which is, well, I guess we have to get into it a little bit. I want you to look it up, FGM, and understand what this is. And understand that these women and girls have lifelong healthcare problems. Why are we reversing this when girls and women were finally feeling safe? Well, when I asked yesterday, when it was brought to my attention from our great partners at Coalition Against Trafficking in Women, and they work not only in the United States, but across the world, and give the warriors a lot of our information, I was told because they want to go back to what their culture accepts, and this sewing up of female genitalia is acceptable. Unbelievable. We're sliding back into, I don't know, I guess the dark ages. It certainly seems like that because I was at the tail end of the women's movement in the 70s, and I know I was a teen. I saw what was going on. I saw on the news. I saw the women coming together. I saw the fight for everything. And on top of this, we have, for instance, Minnesota. There are no laws about surrogacy. Now, this is something we don't talk about a lot. A lot of trafficking, surrogacy can be a form of human trafficking, selling of a baby, right? A lot of vulnerable girls, teen girls, and women will carry somebody else's baby and sell it to make a few dollars. If there are no guardrails around this whole surrogacy, it's been very murky. There have been a lot of stories. Underground surrogacy. It is trafficking. And now different states will not put any kind of guardrails on this surrogacy. It is a business. Remember, when you ask me, why does all of this occur? It occurs because there's a lot of money to be made from children, from everything. It's almost too much for me to talk about, but I'm a warrior, so I have to talk about it. I have to share the information with you. We are going to be doing so many events. Here in New York, we have April 4th lined up. We're going to be having a fireside chat with my beloved Lionel, legal and media analyst, along with Dick Morris. We are going to be having National Victim Rights Advocate and warrior on our advisory council, Madeline Brame, whose brave son was murdered, not in Afghanistan where he served, but when he returned to New York City with our very lenient DA Alvin Bragg, who did not want to prosecute four murderers with extensive records that were going to be let go. 2 of them kind of were, and 2 of them are serving now sentences. And then we have Isaiah Vega Luna, 22-year-old advisory council member. He is launching our Warriors Youth Council. You will see an announcement in the next 2 weeks as we're gearing up for that. As we go into the warmer weather here in New York, we're going to be having diaper drives, period product drives, food drives, apparel drives. We're going to be out in the communities because that is where the work is needed and the work gets done. But I want all of you to bear in mind, and don't be writing me those nasty comments about prostitution, because I work with these women. We do a lot of work very quietly behind the scenes, the warriors. They don't want to be in the sex trade. That is, again, about 97% of them. And there are also men and boys. We have to start talking about them. Our Warriors Youth Council will be young men and young women. We are coming together. Education is the key, raising awareness enough. We are not going to have this. We're going to pass some guardrails. Kids Online Safety Act on the federal level. Step up, Senator Chuck Schumer. You represent me. Get this bipartisan bill into this 118th Congress. Let us see some protection for children and families. Let big tech be held accountable. And Safe for Kids Online Act. This is in New York State. This is, again, a bipartisan act Governor Kathy Hochul is backing. And we want to see some guardrails. We want a duty of care. We want these dangerous algorithms, everything I'm telling you. Plenty of studies, too long to list here, but we'll list them in the body of the video. A couple of them for you to read on your own, are directing kids to these dangerous stunts. These TikTok challenges or other things, body cutting, binge eating, all kinds of crazy things. We cannot allow it anymore. We need to step up. I'm calling on all parents, caregivers, grandparents, family members to join us. We are going to be exploding the warriors very soon, and we need all of you. Numbers count. Volunteers count. Money's always good too. Thank you to all of you who have donated and continue to donate and empower us to do our education series, because we go around and work for free. We do that. So this helps us tremendously. And we support a lot of survivors. We give them monies for their daily transportation, food, co-pays for medical, things of that nature. But we're going to be building it out, and we need all of you. And if you're in New York State and you're hearing this, you need to become a member with us. It requires nothing but signing on with us. We do all the heavy lifting. We have all the bills. We need signatures and zip codes. That's all we need from you. And as we announce different events, we need you to volunteer perhaps and help out with that. If you're listening to this and you have any kinds of goods or services you can offer to us, please write to me, Lynn at lynswarriors.org. We're also part of the Lifeway Network Gala on May 16th here in New York City, and that 2 safe houses that we work with. Helping women reclaim their lives. It is a 1-year program. It is what is needed. It is the answer. So we always need clothing, goods for the 2 houses, anything you can do, socks, I don't care. Wait for our announcements. It's coming soon about the diaper drive, where we'll be distributing, and we want to come to your neighborhood. If you have any ideas, again, write to me, Lynn at lynswarriors.org. Join us. These human rights abuses are just escalating on a daily, every single day. I'm astounded, and I don't get astounded or worried easily, but I'm beginning to not stay. I can't sleep at night. Our children, our grandchildren are at stake. They are the product, and we are not going to allow this. So join me. Remember our hashtag Community Creates Change. Sign up for our newsletter. Go to the website, lynswarriors.org. Scroll down. It's right there, e-newsletter. Be in touch with what is happening. This is not just something, I'll think about it. It doesn't affect me. I don't know about it. It affects each and every one of us. Our tax dollars are going into healthcare. Healthcare is being, exasperated, and more crimes against bodies means more healthcare is needed. I'll do a separate video on that, but I think you understand what I mean. I want everybody to become a warrior because it's 2024. Yes, I look like Rhoda Morgenstern today. That's okay. Because I want to talk to you. When I have something on my mind, I want to talk to you. I'll put a scarf on my head. Join us. Thank you. Remember always, take care of each other. Share facts, not fears. Write to us, Lynn at lynswarriors.org. Follow our website, lynswarriors.org. I named everything Lynn's Warriors. And also subscribe to this video. When I see the analytics that say close to 50% you are not subscribed, I'm glad you're watching it, but I need you to subscribe. We need numbers. I need you to share these videos. I need you to help me. Again, I'll do the work, but I need you to join in. That empowers me to do a better job each and every day. So join us. Community creates change. And always be a warrior.